Validations on settings when using IOptions pattern to read configuration is quite an interesting topic. In past few days, I already covered how to read configurations without IOptions pattern in plain console application, WinForms, and Web API as well. But today's video is one step further, which is on how to validate those settings or how to apply validations on those settings and use those validation in the application in a way that application respond accordingly. From the existing videos perspective, we already have that list here and that is available on my channel. You can find out different things here where we are reading configuration as I already told, without IOptions, with IOption snapshot, and IOptions monitor. So all different variations are already available, but how to validate those configurations? Like if we want an integer within a range or any setting is required, what if those validation are failed? How application will respond? And should application start it if we have those configuration not available? Like if there are very important set of configurations which are core of the application required for application to start, should we allow application to start without those settings? So we will see all those in today's video, and there is a bonus point as well. So keep watching video till the end and you will get that bonus point in the video as well. So let's get started. I already have added ASP.NET MVC project in this solution, and this is a plain template, nothing new added here. So to begin with, and I will be using again IOptions pattern here, and because that is way powerful that we imagine, and let's see how that is. So let me start by adding a folder. I will name it IOptions model, and in IOptions model we'll be adding a class email setting, and let's make it sealed. And this is question for you, why I making this class as sealed? Please give your answers in the comments and we can discuss further then. And this will have a couple of properties, let's say an email, and we want to get but only allow to initialize once, and same we will use for another property that will be frequency, and that will be an integer. That is a frequency, that how many times we should retry to send an email, just a scenario. All right, let me copy paste exact keys from here and jump back to our program.cs file. Here we will configure the IOptions service, and for that one we'll be using builder.services.configure, and that will configure IOptions of the same class email setting, and we need to provide that one builder.configuration.get section, and here we can pass the name of the class because we are going to create an object within appSettings.json file here, the same name, and that object will have two properties. One is email and the other one will be the frequency. Let's give one to the frequency like this, and for the email one we can use example@mail.com. So that was all required to read configurations from the appSettings.json. Let's try this out by injecting IOptions in the home controller private read only email setting and email settings, and we can inject IOptions in the controller here. IOptions email setting, that is not model, that should be IOptions, and we need to add the reference as well, email setting, and here we can use email settings is equal to email setting dot value, and straight away let's assign that dot email is equal to email settings dot email, and same for viewback dot frequency is equal to email settings dot frequency, and we can use use those view bags inside our views home index.cshtml to see the values on the page. So that would be at the rate viewbag.email, and let's use same paragraph property for viewbag.frequency. Let's build the application and run to see what's happening on the UI, and the UI is giving us the value 0. One thing we just used here was the I option of email settings, so that was not required at the moment. Let me refresh the application. Okay, so we are able to read example email and the frequency here. Awesome. And the bonus point is how we can use that email setting object directly inside controller without I options. So we can achieve that by configuring another service, which is builder.services.add singleton, and we will be adding singleton for email service, and that would be email service dot get required service, and that would be around I option like this and of email setting, and we will be using dot value here. So we will be creating a service of type singleton, which means as soon as app is initialized, the instance will be available, and that can be usable with our classes through dependency injection. So now we don't actually need the I options here in the controller. We can directly utilize that here and use within our code. So there is no change in the UI side, just we reduce some code, the injection code within our control. So up till now we have configured the settings and we are able to read those settings from config file. So what about the validations? What I mean by validation is, let's go to that email setting class and try to add a validation, and let's say we want to add range, and minimum that value should be 1, and for the max we can say int dot max value can be used. All right, and let's go back here and try to add 0 here, which is out of the range, and let's start the application. So we are able to read 0. The validation is not working, so to make that validation working we need to do some changes in our program.cs file. Instead of using configure method, we need to use our add options method. That is a bit more flexible and gives some extra features, and that is the crux of this video. So for the validation we need to add builder.services.add options, and again in the same way we will be giving add options of type email setting, and we will call a method which is find configuration, and for that one we will use again the name of the object in appSettings.json file, which is email setting. Although we have used the same name as the class, but we can change the name in the appSettings.json, and we can use that name here to configure those settings with that I options object. Dot validate data annotations. So that is the method which creates the magic. Let's rerun the application now and first see what we get on the console. On the console we are now getting the error, which is fine, and that is data annotation validation error, and it's saying that email setting member frequency with the error, the field frequency must be between 1 and the maximum value of the integer. And on the UI side we will receive the same kind of error, and it doesn't mean the application is not started. And what I mean by that, let me try another controller and we can use the name like setting controller, and let's add a view, empty view quickly to see the things working on this view. Let's add a paragraph and it says it's settings, and now let's run the application once again and we can use setting here, and setting should be working fine. But it means that the application is working fine, but for the particular controller where we have consumed that configuration, which is injected through add options method, it's not working because a validation is failed on that object. But what if that setting is very critical? We must want that setting to be configured and validated before the application gets started. For that one, again, the same add options method gives us that ability to validate that settings on the application start. So if we now press Ctrl F5 and check the application, it should fail and should be stopped working. So you can see that unable to connect web server, that is fine, and application should be stopped, and it's stopped, right? Which means we can only check the error in the debug mode now, and as soon as I run the application in debugger mode, we are getting that error on app.run. That data annotation validation failed for email settings member, and the same error is coming here now, and application will not start. So this is how we can use add options method to configure those app settings with validations with different options. So that was all for this video. In case of any questions or queries, do ask me in the comments, and we'll see you in the next one.